What is going on, everybody? Darrell, Whiskey Saint back with another video, guys, and another Whiskey Wednesday little review. Got a new bottle in and want to kind of to give it a fresh crack and just see what I think, literally off of a yeah, a fresh pour. Normally I kind of crack into these bottles, get into them a couple times before giving like an honest review, but wanted to switch it up a bit, just crack into this one, give it a go, see what the thoughts are, and kind of take it from there. New to our channel, hit that like and subscribe. What we're going to be talking about, though, guys, is a bottle coming from the Junkies. This is a Essence single barrel from my friends over in the Poor Nerds group, Travis Neary, Gary Franchi, putting together some killer bottles, man. Some single barrels that they've been releasing have been pretty darn good, and I trust their palate. So, it's almost like an instant buy when they put up something in the group to purchase, and you just look at that color, right? It's dark, and that's not even a camera. Like, I got all the bottles that I could probably pull up, and this thing is crazy. So if you want to see how this is just as much as I do, stick around. We're going to kick the show off. I'm going to dive right into this bottle. Cheers. Welcome back. Ready to dive in? I know I am. Like, this thing just looks crazy. I don't really have many whiskeys that are this dark. Like, this is nuts. Put it in perspective. Let me find a whiskey that's kind of dark normally, right? Let's see. Magnus. All right. I got a Joseph Magnus. Usually with the finishes, these come across a little dark, guys. Look at the color difference. Like, this thing looks black compared to it, right? Like, crazy. So there was some type of barrel influence going on with this, hopefully for a good thing. Let's crack it up, see how it is. Just give you a couple stats on it. It is a rye, single barrel rye, coming in at 130 proof. Out of Sagamore, so a 6-year-old, 52% rye, 43% corn, 5% malted barley, out of Maryland. Our good friends over at Sagamore. So very high rye. Well, sorry, low rye, high corn content in this. And I'm not sure. I don't think I own any ryes. I've tasted one, and it was the first Evernorth they did, I believe, and it was this color too, and it was like crazy. I had it at the Pours in a Park a whole year ago, and that thing was insane. And I want to say the color was really similar to that. I'm not sure if the profile is, but it looks very similar. So we're just going to swirl this up a bit, guys. It is a fresh crack. Keep that in mind. Some things can change. A lot of whiskey does change, with airtime. But just wanted to crack something new, being that I just got it back from Kentucky this week. Man, I had a great time over at Jason's meetup, the bourbon, actually the Bardstown Blitz. Crazy time, man. Probably put out maybe something else in regards to that whole experience and weekend, but just good times with great people, man. It really doesn't get better than that. But back onto this. Just look at that, guys. Crazy. Super dark, like mahogany. It's not even like that like amber that most whiskey looks. Like, this is just crazy. Looks like it's finished. Enough with the swirls. Let's give it a taste. Cheers. Or actually, not even give it a taste. Let's give it a nose first. Let's do that. So, wow. I don't know if it's because I just cracked it and maybe it hasn't opened up, but this is potent on the nose. Like, there's no denying that this is like some barrel proof whiskey. Like, it just, the aromas, the flavors just smack you right in the face. Not even tasting it, like, it just hits you. It's not super ethanol forward, but like, you do get like some nice oak. You're getting like this rich, what is that note? It's like a rich, almost like a dark orange. Like if you kind of sounds weird, but maybe like a chocolate covered orange. Like it's dark, rich, chocolatey, and citrusy at the same time. Nice spice that doesn't really overpower the nose. It's going for a taste. Oh, so first sip, that's not what I was expecting. Not in a bad way, but there's so much like dark chocolate and citrus that I thought I was going to get a good amount of that citrus punch on the palate. And it's just a lot darker with like notes of barrel char, more of the chocolate side, barrel char, with not as much of the citrus, which is kind of odd because it's so much of it up front on the nose for me. It's going for another sip. Hmm. That second sip tones it down a bit, comes across a little bit more balance, but a lot of that citrus is gone. Like there is an underlying note of like some orange peel, like a slight bitterness, kind of like if you bit into the peel, to be honest, which isn't off putting. But, the brightness for the most part is kinda gone, which I don't mind. Like, it's not a bad thing by any means, don't think that. The flavors are still really, really nice, but that second sip actually drank, to me, under that 130 proof. Like, it doesn't seem to drink that. Like, the flavors are really, really concentrated, but on that second sip, it drank more like maybe like a 120 proof whiskey versus 130. Like I've had some 130 whiskeys, especially ryes too, with the rye content. Granted, this one doesn't have a super high rye content. It's only 52%. So maybe that's playing into the more balanced portion of it. If that was like a higher 60, 70, 80, maybe that 130 proof really, really would have hit me on the palate. But you don't really get that here. It actually comes across a bit more balanced with that higher corn content into it. I'm gonna take one more sip, guys, and kind of see if I can maybe score it in a sense. I don't have the whole breakdown, but we'll see how far we can go with that. Yeah, like nose is nice. Getting a little plum or fig now, which is kind of different on a rye whiskey for me, but it's super, super dark with like some nice citrus punch. That like that orange peel up front on the nose. But yeah, it's hints of darkness, hints of light sweetness and citrus as well. It's almost like that yin and yang. One more sip, guys. I'm gonna kind of tally it up. Hmm. It's progressively got better with each sip. First sip got hit with a little bit more flavor. Second sip kind of balanced it out a bit. Third sip, all those flavors are back, but just seems to be a little bit more concentrated and just sits on the tongue a bit more. Like right now, front and like almost like half of my tongue have the flavors just sitting there. The back of the palate, even though the finish is nice, the back of the palate, the flavors don't sit on my tongue like they do the front and the mid. Like right now, they're literally just right there, but I don't taste it on the back, which I don't think is really an issue. But with some whiskeys, I tend to like just to have that whole mouthfeel, right? Front, mid, back, just have those flavors kind of punch you. These flavors hit more up front, sit on the mid, finish is nice, tones down a bit, but the flavors just don't sit on the back, versus just kind of hanging around like the front and the mid, which is fine for me. Like I'm not opposed to it at all. But really, really pick, man. Like relatively cheap, dude. Like I think Evernorth is putting out these whiskeys for like $70. You know what I mean? Like it's a 6-year rye whiskey, out of Sagamore. Like really, really good stuff. And like I showed you guys earlier, like the color is just kind of crazy, right? Like I had to hold another bottle up just for perspective because sometimes the camera can look like it's a little darker than what it is, but that is as dark as it looks. And those flavors do present on the palate as such, right? Like there was some mingling going on with the barrel to, gain that color on the whiskey because 6-year-old whiskey normally isn't that dark. Nor do I think this was even double oaked or anything like that to even present it that way, right? So yeah, there was something going on, which shows in a whiskey, but it's good. Like $70 for this type of profile and what you get in terms of the experience, I think it's just like a buy all day. I continue to trust Travis and Gary over at Poor Nerds, man. You guys are putting out some banger picks. I honestly have yet to have something that I was disappointed with, and you guys know me and I'm honest. Like if I don't like something, I don't like it. I'll be cordial about it and speak tactfully, but like if I don't if I don't like it, I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you guys about it. Like I enjoy this whiskey. $70 for this pour, I think, is a no-brainer. It's really, really good. I'm really happy to see that, Sean and Dan are grabbing some crazy, crazy barrels. I know they're doing some blends on their own over there, as well as some of these single barrels, but I think I got maybe a handful of different essence single barrels and have yet to have one that I disliked. Not all picks from the Poor Nerds or anything, but just in general, a mixture of, bourbon junkie stuff and different groups selecting from them. They're selecting some good barrels and they're blending some good whiskey over there, man. So kudos to Dan and Sean over at the Bourbon Junkies, man. I know this was a single barrel. You really didn't have much part in that, but I've tasted some blends that you guys did over there, and those were pretty, pretty nice as well. But not going to keep you guys too long, man. For those who stuck this far, appreciate it. This essence, man, like really, really good stuff. Really good stuff. Experience is different than like some of the whiskeys that I've had recently too, which is nice. And I don't even know if I've ever had something with this mash bill. Because I want to say a lot of the stuff from SAG was MGP rye, which was 95.5, 42, so 52, 43.5. That's a new one to me, I believe. If there's some other whiskeys that you guys know that, is 52% rye, 43% corn, let me know in the comments, man. I'm curious to see what else is out there. Not familiar with that mash bill whatsoever. So maybe it's just coming from them, or potentially it could be somebody else putting some stuff out like that too. But it definitely does something to the whiskey, kind of balances out a bit. You don't have that big rye punch on the front, and something at 130 proof doesn't really seem to drink 130 proof, especially for a rye, right? But yeah, overall good whiskey. It is a buy. I know it's a single barrel, guys. It's not something that everybody can go find, but just to kind of highlight what bottles and what barrels should I say that Dan and Sean are getting, man. Like they're grabbing some good stuff. It's not all just Sagamore stuff. It's a few other distilleries that they're grabbing some things from as well. But this is a really, really nice single barrel. All of the other barrels that I do have, blends and barrels have been pretty good as well. So excited to see what they do in the future, and excited to see, what they do, like in terms of just kind of like branching out, maybe some other blends or collaboration blends, or maybe we'll see what else they pull in terms of, distilleries and such. But we're going to end it here, guys. It's been a bit. You guys been hanging all this time. Don't want to keep you any longer. Cheers to you all. Like I said earlier, if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe. Definitely helps us out a bit, man. Until next Wednesday. Cheers.